season begins as it did a year ago with a big late win for Georgia Tech. Scoreless early in this game after a turnover, and Caden Salter, the transfer from Liberty, 3rd and 2, buying time, and finds DeKalen Taylor. A bit of a bobbling grab, but he secures it. Buffs up 7-0. And once Haynes King and Georgia Tech stopped turning the football over, 3 turnovers in first three possessions, now he starts doing what he's great at. Takes it in himself. They lead 10-7. Now 13-all, not anymore. There goes King again. 17-yard touchdown. What's the good word? Tech leads by 7. But now approaching the midway point of the fourth, there goes Salter on a 3rd down. Initially, you see the linesman running in to spot him down. They took a look. That's a touchdown. It's 20 apiece. We're approaching the last minute. Georgia Tech getting field goal range to win it. The heck with that. King, on his 19th carry of the night, goes over 150 on the ground. His 3rd touchdown rush of the evening. This is a tough young man. As he goes, so goes Tech. Colorado obviously has time, but man, they let a lot of it get away and only ran about 5 plays. Gets this Hail Mary late. Deion Sanders pulled some rabbits out of hats, we know, late in games for Colorado last year, but not this one. It hits the turf, and Georgia Tech, the Jackets go on the road, and Deion Sanders' squad on the wrong end of a 7-point home loss to begin this campaign. Entertaining, and after the rough start for Tech offense with the turnovers, it's Haynes King who had quite a night with over 100 rushing yards, over 100 passing yards, and 3 touchdowns on the ground. The second ACC quarterback to do so in a season opener in the last 20 seasons. The others happen to be Taquan Marshall in 2017, also a Yellow Jacket quarterback. You just take a look at how Vegas was viewing the Buffs and the Jackets when the season began. And Georgia Tech, a lot of optimism down there in Atlanta. Pardon the pun, a lot of buzz. I saw some stats about season tickets. They sold a bunch. People in Atlanta are really fired up about this team. And the man I'm going to visit with now is a big reason why. Haynes King, hey, it's Scott Van Pelt. Welcome to SportsCenter, man. Congratulations. We just showed the highlights, and man, after a bumpy start, when you held on to the football, you took it into the end zone quite a bit. How were you all able to kind of absorb that rough start and find your footing?
I mean, for sure. One, we got to hang on to the football. We can't have 3 turnovers again. But staying calm, weathering the storm. We all wear bracelets. E+R = O. What is the outcome that you want and your response to those events that happen? The events that happen are 3 turnovers. How do we respond? We're going to stay calm, weather the storm, and do what we do.
And what you do in particular, I mean, you could throw it, but man, 19 carries, you went over $150 on that last touchdown run, Haynes. Is there sort of a sweet spot in terms of the number of times you all hope that you'll be running it? I get that there are options for you to choose as the play is developing, but is there a number you kind of have in mind for how many times you're going to carry it?
I really don't have a number. I've said it at ACC Media Day before. It doesn't matter if I have to carry it 20 times or hand it off 20 times or throw it 600 times. I want to do whatever it is to win.
Well, and tonight this was what was required. And as I was just mentioning, Haynes, there's I feel like so much optimism in Atlanta around you and your team, and it's really been building. And it started a year ago with a win over in Dublin, over Florida State. Now you guys go on the road and get a win. What can you describe as growing within your program in Atlanta that Georgia Tech is putting one brick on top of another?
I mean, Coach Key, he's done a really good job building it from the ground up. The way he does it, he wants to do things the right way. And just the people that we have in our building, it takes care of itself. If you surround yourself with the right people, you're just going to prosper, and it's going to be an amazing trip in the journey.
I'll close with this one. I want to let you get to your guys and celebrate a road win. I realize there's a game between now and Clemson coming in. I'm not asking about Clemson. I'm asking where do y'all want to get better from game 1 to game 2 and then game 3? Because there's always room for improvement. Is there a specific thing that you think you'll be working on between now and a couple weeks from now?
Oh, for sure. Offensively, you know, we can't keep shooting ourselves in the foot, whether it's turnovers, penalties, pre-snap penalties, stuff like that. Whether it's, you know, doing a better job communicating to the guys up front, stuff like that. But I'd say that's the biggest point taken from this game that we just had.
You're one tough dude, man. Fun to watch you play. Congratulations on the victory, and enjoy this one with your guys. Travel safely home. I look forward to talking again maybe somewhere down the road, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
As they replace a bunch of folks that moved on, and Dusty Dvoracek joins me now. And Dusty, we just talked to Haynes. I don't know if you're able to hear any or much of it. They started off and they turned it over once, turned it over twice, turned it over 3 times. But their defense was able to limit the damage and keep them in a game that ultimately King is able to win with his toughness and his ability to run the rock. What's your takeaway from the end where Tech wins a game by 7 on the road in a hostile environment?
It's a tough football team. You know, you don't typically lose the turnover battle 3-0 and then find a way to come back and win those games. And to your point, the fact that it was only 7-0 after those 3 turnovers, you just got to weather the storm. I said that on the broadcast. You heard Haynes King say that. This team has belief. Brent Key makes this team believe in who they are. And there's a toughness about them. It's not fake. It's very real. Probably because Brent Key's a former offensive lineman. He wore that Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket uniform, and his team really buys into that. And when you got a leader like Haynes King, like you just talked to, I think this team truly believes they can accomplish anything. It wasn't pretty, but they found a way to get it done. What a ball game, and what a way to kick off what's going to be an awesome weekend of college football.
It certainly is, and I give Georgia Tech so much credit, Dusty, because we know this sport, and man, you're in a state with the dogs, and they're cooking, and you got an O-lineman who's an interim, and is it the sexy, splashy hire? No. And I can imagine you think, well, who can we go out and get? But I mean, you're nodding your head. I mean, that's not always the way it goes in this sport, but looking back, man, they made the absolute right move by not making a move outside of what they already had, didn't they?
They did, and he earned it. Look, remember,
Agreed.
Go back to that year as an interim. First game was against a Pitt team that was ranked. He beat them. They wound up beating 2 ranked teams that year. When that team, I'm sure you remember, it wasn't very good. I called 2 of those games, and it was about the work that they put in and the belief that he instilled. And then he gets that job. They've had back-to-back winning seasons. He's got 27 seniors. This is his best team. He's got a great quarterback. And, you know, he says this all the time, but they can run the ball. And they're going to run the ball in a lot of teams this year. We saw it tonight. You're going to see it throughout the course of the season. And I actually think there's more value in it being tough, coming on the road. This is the first time they ever played Colorado. Going to altitude, having the slow start, yet finding a way to make the plays you have to make and come away with a victory. I think that even plays better for this team in the future of this season than coming in here and winning convincingly and running away. So I have the utmost respect for Brent Key, exactly like you said, what he's building brick by brick. It's real and it's sustainable.
And again, it's maybe the same lane here. That is Haynes the most sexy quarterback in college football? No, but he might be one of the toughest. You heard him say it. I'll run it however many times and throw it 600. I don't care. I think of that Georgia game. You couldn't be tougher. Like, you couldn't be tougher. And willing to just get obliterated and then give me the pill and I'll run it again. I just admire a leader who leads that way. And I guess maybe he just reflects his head coach. I guess they're kind of one and the same, aren't they?
He said to us yesterday, when this season's over, Haynes King's going to be my best friend. I've never had a coach in 10 years of doing this say this in a meeting. There is a mutual respect and adoration. It's player-coach right now, but there really is. I think that Brent Key sees a lot of himself in his quarterback, which you don't always hear from a former offensive lineman and a quarterback. I'll tell you the other thing it does, man, is being a guy on the other side of the ball. When you got a quarterback like that, man, it juices everybody. It's infectious, SVP, and I really think that that's permeating all throughout the course of this locker room. So, big-time victory, and I'm just anxious to see where they go from here. I know that it's not till 2 weeks away, but Clemson, They got to go into the backyard in Atlanta of this team. They got to go face the Ramblin' Wreck on their turf. And I can't wait to see some of the corrections they make. It wasn't all perfect. Blake Gideon, defensive coordinator, he called ball plays for the first time here tonight. Okay, he's going to get better, and he's going to improve a little bit over time. They lost, one of their best wide receivers, Malik Rutherford, on the first series. We didn't get a chance to see him again. So I think this team is still going to be able to build and grow and learn from this, and I'm anxious to see where they're going. Going into the season, I was very high on Georgia Tech. I think they've got a legit chance to make it to Charlotte. It's tough for me to walk out of this booth and not continue to have those feelings after what I watched unfold here tonight.
I believe it's Gardner-Webb in between, and then Clemson comes to town for a gigantic early season ACC test. Of course, Clemson's got LSU this weekend. We're going to talk to their head coach a little later. I want to close with just a quick thought on Colorado. And Caden Salter comes from Liberty, played a ton of ball, and maybe it's first game in a new system, but like that last minute, they had 2 timeouts, Dusty. They only ran, I think, 5 plays, and they end the game with 2 timeouts in their back pocket. It felt like they could have given themselves more of an opportunity just with the timeout to run a few more plays. What happened in your estimation there in that last series for the Buffs?
Really poor clock management. There's really no other way to look at it. Maybe even after the first play, you call a timeout, but definitely after the second play, you got to call a timeout. And every second is so precious in that scenario. And you got 2 timeouts in your back pocket. The last thing you ever want to do in a situation like this that comes down to the end and you're fighting with the clock is to end the game with multiple timeouts in your pocket. That's something that Coach Sanders, Coach Shermer has got to learn from and get better from moving forward. And same goes to the quarterback, Caden Salter. Look, his first year, it's not his first year to be a starting quarterback. His first year here with this staff. They've got to work through end-of-game situations like that moving forward, make sure that something like that is handled better moving forward. But I got to tell you this, man, I was impressed with Colorado. They had 1 returning starter on offense come back. 1. That's the left tackle, Jordan Seaton. It was a completely new offensive line, new quarterback, new wide receivers. Everything was new. They had 2, maybe 3 starters back on defense. All of it was new. And I thought they fought their tails off. Like, I think if you're a Colorado fan, you're upset tonight with the way it ended in the clock management. But I think big picture, I saw him run the football more effectively. I saw Caden Salter make some plays. I think this team's going to be very interesting to watch throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, they just weren't able to capitalize on the gifts they got early from Tech turning it over. And then the end, Haynes King is just tougher than the proverbial $2 steak. And that last rush takes it to the house, and they win by 7. Dusty, travel well. Appreciate the chance to visit with you, and we'll do it all season long, man. Great to be with you.
We gave up 463 yards of total offense. They ran for 320 yards. You're not going to win with those statistics. We tried many things. We tried blitzing, trying to fill every gap, but we couldn't get the job done. They were much more physical than we were. They were much more aggressive at times. We made some plays that we should have capitalized off some of the plays we made, but that first half we didn't. And now we're playing catch up statically, and it's not like we were tricked, fooled, or anything. I think we had success running the ball at times as well, but we missed a few plays that we should have hit. I think you all saw that. But overall, man, you got to give them credit. Defensively, we got to clean up all that. I mean, we just got gashed for 463 yards, man. The quarterback's looking like a Heisman candidate right now. We made that happen for him. We got to do a better job collectively, defensively, on neutralizing the opposing team's running game. And when they take shots, we can't get PIs. We got to do a better job with that as well.
Hey, Coach Adam Rittenberg with ESPN. Just wondering how you felt being out there after everything you went through personally this summer.
Felt good. I don't feel good right now, but I felt darn good during the game. I think we were playing a heck of a game, and we could have played a little better, but I felt darn good. The staff was doing a great job. I mean, you're 2 or 3 big plays. I mean, a first down, deep ball, we right there. We don't need pass interference. Another deep ball, we right there. We don't need the nonsense, and we allowed it to happen. And those are huge plays. Like, those plays come back to haunt you. But we're going to get that corrected, and we're going to fix it.
The loss continues. Trend for Colorado and their head coach. They have not been victorious yet as a home dog. A 0-5 in that spot. They win as the favorite, hoping to continue that week 2 as they welcome Delaware to Boulder.
You want this, you got that. No way, watch them walk right past you. Run fast, run fast, while